laboratory of life where our tests, our trials can turn into triumphs and success. And today I am going to give you the story of a very influential education leader who's been in the field for 40 years, and his expertise has influenced a lot of our teachers in the field, especially in Region 10. And he is also known as the builder of systems, especially in Region 10 with his advocacy of Tatak Region 10. I would like to give you, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Arturo Bayocot, known as Dr. Art. Doc Art, good morning, and how are you?
Morning. Yeah, I'm good, but of course, pasensya na namamalat ako. But I'll try to carry on this interview. I hope I'll be able to do it.
Yes, and with God, we can do it. Thank you so much, Doc Art. You are known to be the builder of systems. Ano po yung pinaka-core talaga ng inyo ang pagiging known as builder of systems? How was it in the, kumbaga, in a layman's term, why are you being tagged as builder of systems?
When you live your life, you just don't consider yourself as the person who is responsible for the self. No? Kasi, especially with DepEd, which is the largest bureaucracy, you live within the circles, even beyond the circles. So, I think systems are very important. We live in a kind of symbiotic relationship, especially in a people organization, that one cannot live without the others. No? You have to consider the ecosystems. So that the team or yourself to be able to carry on your journey, kailangan mo build routines, build procedures, build systems. Because, especially with the Department of Education, you cannot just work in fragments.
Yes.
Team play is very essential.
Ang ingon nila, Dr. Art, because I am also from the Department of Education, I'm proud to be a teacher. Ingon nila, mas dali pa daw i-manage ang mga estudyante kaysa mag-manage ka og teachers.
Agree. Because the teachers are supposed to be the reflection of the kind of leadership you provide. And you just don't think to that level, because whatever is the impact you have made to the teachers will boil down to how do they carry teaching or raising their school children in their care. So kumbaga, the ripple effect is so great. Once you affect one life of a teacher, bring it down to the 45 students under the care of the teacher. That's why engaging the students, to me, is easier, but engaging teachers is more critical because there's a lot of lives under each of them.
So, when you were called to lead out teachers, you never started being right away the regional director. You started as, can you tell us your story? How did you start being the leader of teachers? You mentioned off camera, kahapon when we had a talk with him, mga kapaglaom, he mentioned that you were once a teacher in a classroom in a rural setting. Tell us about it.
Agree, no? Because this is my 40 years already in the Department of Education. And I think the dynamics of that, it cannot be underestimated in terms of my familiarity, because I have lived my life in this kind of work. I started as a teacher way back in 1986. You just imagine, that was 4 decades already. No?
Yeah.
I taught for 13 years in the classroom. I was a master teacher handling grade 6 children, both grades 5 and 6. And then it wasn't easy. But for me, in my chapters of the journey, it was one of the most fulfilling chapters.
How was it fulfilling, Doc? Because a lot of teachers are now hired. Some of them are assigned to really challenging area na magtabok pagsuba, mulakaw pa, pila ka kilometer, and then when they arrive on their their station, they might felt nga, ka-discourage ba kay ani nga lugar? How does it feel? How can your story be relatable to those who are newly hired?
I said it's fulfilling and rewarding because seeing a child learning from what you have invested on them is very rewarding, no? Kasi the learning outcomes, the learning gains of students are dependent on how did you put investments in making sure that you can bring the best of them, no? And when I was assigned in the schools, 40 years ago, I started in a rural area. Children did not have that enough support in terms of financial. They come from the fisher folks. I mean, they are sons and daughters of the fisher folks and farmers. And you know how life difficult is in the rural areas.
That depends on the climate and temperatures.
But you motivating them to continue their studies. Matter of fact, I'm very happy that I'm seeing now some of them doing well in their life-chosen careers. May that be in public and private service. And I think this is one of the most fulfilling rewards a teacher is enjoying. You know, teaching may not be a lucrative job, but in terms of looking your former students now doing well in their life-chosen careers is something that cannot be paid off by money. And with the struggles in teaching children in the rural areas and making a difference in their lives, I think that cannot be erased in their history, that had it not been for you, they would not have become what they are today.
And you are part and parcel of what they are today.
And 13 years was not a joke to be in the classroom until I decided that I'll venture to another field of work. And I was given the chance to join ranking, and I was able to elevate myself from a classroom teacher to a supervisory function, a supervisory position.
When you had this in mind, Doc, I mean, when you had an interest of joining the leadership position, what do you have in mind? What particular area you wanted to improve and make things better?
Well, being a classroom teacher, master teacher for that matter, my motivation to really get that position is to be able to help other teachers. I may have done the best that I could in the classroom, but the effect to me is not as large as when I became supervisor. Why? Because it's just confined within the community, within the 45 lives of children under my care. But once you become a leader in education, supervisor or school head, the ripple effect is great, no? The domino effect, because when you deal 10 teachers, multiply that by 45 lives each teacher has. So I mean, in terms of being able to help, do impact in the lives of children, you have the greater opportunity. That was my motivation, because I want to help teachers. We have the program before MTLT, or Master Teaching, leading other teachers. I was then Master Teacher. But when I became supervisor, the opportunity widened my horizon in terms of being able to help. Well, it was a struggle a bit because I've never been a school head. No?
Oh,
From
so
classroom teaching,
from master teacher to
I went to
supervisory.
division supervisory functions. Well, instruction might there already be an expertise in the fraction of my capabilities, but in terms of managing people, how you design programs and stage the program, involving other teachers to be trainers in your training program, for example. I think, but you know, agree ako na you don't have to be an all-knowing person. Just accept your limitations, work on it, build, and make them as your strengths.
Is that your way also, Doc, of making your leadership impact people? Kumbaga, you are trying to utilize, empower people in your system to become leaders also. And that's what leadership for you is.
I think because no one has the monopoly of knowledge. As you become leader, you also learn leadership styles and practices of other leaders, or even from the teachers. No? Lifelong learning. So as you are there providing leadership, you as well get inputs from the people that you lead and from the other leaders who are also doing the same stuff. No? So again, life is a continuous learning. And siguro it doesn't make you less of a leader if you recognize your limitations, your shortcomings. But of course, it is not enough to recognize your limitations. Work on it and convert them into strengths. And that will make you a better person. Kasi, halimbawa, if you are being asked for something that you don't know, I think you have to tell honestly that you don't know. But you don't end there by saying, no, I don't know that. Give some time for yourself, do research, do whatever you do, and then get back into that issue or to that person. And hey, the next day you will already have the categorical answers the person is looking for.
Wow.
Ganun lang naman yun eh.
I like that kind of mindset, no, being a leader, Doc. But I would like to know, what is it that formed you or shaped you? Because now, I mean, hearing from you, you're really something, I mean, some kind of a special person na your leadership is anchored on your core values. How was it formed when you were growing up? Why is Dr. Art Bayocot think this way? What is it that your parents have taught you when you were a child, when you were growing up?
There are a lot of factors because improving the self is not just about improving your cognition. It is always a combination of your mental toughness and your character. And these are not just learned by books, by lectures. No? You have to work on it. And to me, to be able to become the best of you is, of course, continue, educate yourselves, but take a look at the value system that you have been displaying and learning from it. No? Kasi I agree that to me, in leading people, there are only two domains that I'm looking at. It's performance, which requires a lot of your cognition, and of course, relationship. You cannot just set aside relationship.
Yeah.
And relationship to me is also just a consolidation of individual characters.
And it's the backbone of whatever you do.
Including your character, how you deal with things. No?
Yeah.
So that's very essential, and these are inseparable.
So I can see, Doc, that your parents taught you well.
Yeah, I think.
You mentioned to me off cam that your parents are also in the education field.
Yeah.
Going back to your being a child, how does your values formed and shaped your principles? How does the teachings of your parents brought you here?
Most of these are not easily taught or are not easily learned. I mean, it's not asked. It has to be earned. And how do you earn these values? Demonstrate it. No? So to me, shaping yourself contributes so much from the experiences that you have. No? Kasi kailangan mo talaga maranasan ng isang bagay upang matutunan mo. I still believe that experience gives you the concrete learning.
What
experience the
experience,
best
Doc?
teacher.
What experience that really hits you the most na kailangan, parang dun sa experience na yun, I've learned so much. Ano po yun? Is it okay to tell?
Yeah, I think
Marami po kayong na-experience.
marami.
But is there something na parang dito talaga nakahook talaga yung transformation niya, 360 degrees? Parang, yes, I have to change something.
Things are not just byproducts of schooling. I think the way how you were raised in the family contributes so much. The foundation of learning emanates in the family, upbringing. I'm just lucky that my parents are the kind of persons who do not just give you they were supportive, but they're kind of parents who do not spoil you. They give you empowerment, they involve you in decision making, and they allow you to grow. They
So
do
you're
not
allowed
suppress.
to fail.
They do not suppress you because they believe that creativity comes out when you are being empowered. No?
Wow.
While they are the typical disciplined kind of parents, but they don't also lose track in terms of giving space for you to grow on your own. No?
So salute to all parents who's been really supporting their children on whatever they do and leading them to the right path. And that's how, I mean, the success you have right now is actually the byproduct of all of these factors in your life growing up. Kaya makita mo guni mo ang confidence sa usa ka tao. When gikan siya sa balay, dayon suddenly mo go out siya sa world. Makita guni mo ang training niya sa balay. And salute to your parents, Doc.
There is always a connect with how you perform, how you live your life at home and in school or elsewhere. No? That's very important. You cannot just be just doing things superficial out in the world, but doing the reverse things once you're in the family. You cannot fake things.
So kung di pwedeng magdoble cara, you are bringing your personality, you're being the Art Bayocot inside the home to your real world in the workplace.
That's why parents' role is very critical because however they raise their children at home will always have manifestations in the school.
Correct.
And this is being backed up by how teachers raise them in the classrooms to become what they are and be ready for the challenging future. They will live their lives someday. No? So yun talaga mahalaga. No? And I always say that there must be a connect. And if that connect isn't deliberate or is very elusive, then the role of education, the role of schools are to find that connect. And that's part of the domains, whether that's leadership domain or teaching domain. You have to go extra mile in terms of bringing the parents' community together in school. Because again, we don't nurture the child only on one aspect. DepEd commits holistic education, preparing the child not just for cognition but in all aspects. And the community, which is supposed to be the second layer, layer of education sector, is really very, very important. Well, that can be a reverse. It can be first or second layer.
Basta they are needed to be part of the children's learning and development. Going back to your leadership, Doc, you said you have an interest on the leadership position. Now you are leading. Is that easier path, or had it given you a difficult time because you were raised in Pagadian City, and going up to the leadership role, now interacting with people in the national level? I know it's hard to be, from local to national. How do you make yourself visible and influence others to believe in your principles and your ideas?
Many people had stereotypes in terms of getting to the position, that it's easier, you have all the perks, it's a comfortable life in there compared to the lives of teachers. But if you look at the key result areas of a leader, it's not easy. It's even more difficult because all eyes are on you. And you cannot just fake, no? You cannot just be a preacher. You have to be a doer. You have to walk your talk. You cannot say, well, gasgas na po ang linyang, follow what I say, don't follow what I do. They always look at your credibility as a factor.
And your words and everything that you do, for that matter, including your gestures.
Yeah. These are all seen and are accounted for in the way you perform. So I'm not saying I'm living a superficial kind of life as a leader, but the accountability is always telling you, hey, it's not just about you. It's about the organization that you represent. I remember these levels of leadership by John Maxwell. Level 1 is people respect you because of your position. That's reality.
That's first.
But of course, that's not the peak.
That's not the lasting impression.
Yeah. But that is also real. There's a lot of people who respect their superior just because of your position. But the second level is people respect you because they like you. However, is the liking is anchored on whether they like you because of the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you perform. Well, it can be literal, it can be metaphorical. For as long as there is already an element of liking, that brings it to the second level. But John Maxwell continues to define that the third level is people respect you because you deliver. So they're looking already at your performance as a leader. So they like because of your position, they like because of some things that you manifest, but they like you because you perform. It's about delivering your mandates. But that's not even the peak. Well, to me, reaching third level is already good. But the fourth level is, according to John Maxwell, which is my leadership guru, people like you because you help your people grow. So that's something. It's not just about delivering your function, but being able to bring all your people grow. I always say that if you want to be an outstanding, make sure your people are outstanding.
Oh.
You don't have the...
So, kumbaga isang buong community, you have to perform together.
Hindi pwedeng ikaw lang ang outstanding tapos mga sakop mo walang naging outstanding.
Kumbaga, you're looking good and other else are looking bad.
That's what I'm telling school principals, for example, that you just don't run or chase after your promotions, leaving your teachers behind. Because if none of your teachers is outstanding, then you do not have the right to claim for an outstanding rating. Their performances is always a reflection, are always a reflection of what you provide. Leadership. No? And that's it, no? Because you make people grow. That's the fourth level. But the peak level of John
Hindi pa pala yun ang
hindi
ano.
pa.
Okay po.
The highest level is people like you because of you, who you are and what you represent. So bumabalik-balik sa pagkatao mo. I'd rather be respected as Arturo Bayocot, not just because I'm the regional director. If you like me, it's very fulfilling because you like me as a person. So it's about you. But again, as what I've said, and the organization that you represent, you cannot set aside. Well, I do
Wherever
this,
you are, you represent
Yes.
Region 10, Department of Education.
especially teachers. Kasi habang buhay tayong ma'am and sir, kahit patay na tayo ma'am and sir, they always look up to us as the most learned individuals in the communities. Di ba? Kahit, sorry for the term ha, na kahit teacher ka lang, sorry
mga
for the
ganyan
term
kasi,
lang, pero iniimbita ka ng kapitan na mag-judge ng kung ano.
Yes.
Even if you don't sing well, you are chair of the judges for singing competition. Why? Because people look up to
And
teachers
you're trusted as a teacher.
as the source of learning. So bring it to the leadership. Ganun yun. So sa daming levels of leadership influence, I think to be at the peak is so hard to get there, but very fulfilling. And pag nandun ka na, people respect you because of who you are and what you represent. The fifth level, it's not easy to maintain.
Yeah, that's it, Doc. I want to know, how do you maintain that? I mean, it's just so hard for somebody, for an individual to acquire all of this respect that we have to. But how did you, kumbaga, paano yung step o yung process na dinaanan mo? And how were you able to handle criticisms as well? Kasi hindi man lahat
Yeah, you
as
cannot please everyone.
You cannot, even if you do things on your own, do you think effective ito? Pero there are really other people who think differently. How do you handle them?
As I told teachers, or as I always tell teachers, if you're good today, then work to become better. Because to be at a good level, it's not enough, no? Or it's not the peak. And if you are better today, there's still that best level that you have to accomplish. And once you become better, it's not the end of the world. Because you have to be consistent. You cannot just be good on a Monday and come out worst on a Friday. So it's consistency, sustainability. And to me, that's even the most difficult job to do. No? And while you continue living your life, again, you're not perfect. So if people perceive you differently, take a chance to see the positive side of that. You don't have to react, but respond to it. Reacting is different from responding. So again, if there are criticisms, listen to that, but don't give a damn to that.
So
Take it as an opportunity to grow even more.
Kasi may mga tao na bibitter sila
Oo.
after the criticisms.
Well, especially living in this competitive world.
Yes.
Even in the inside organic members of the organization, there's power struggle, there's mental crab mentality. That once you're there, they'd like to pull you down. I think the key to that is just be true to yourself. Magpakatotoo ka. And if you think that what they're telling you is true,
Then
change. Yeah. Work on it and convert that into something that will build you even more.
And don't be too hard on yourself, right?
Yes.
Take your time. Although it might take longer, but be patient also with yourself. If you can be patient to other people, then be patient on yourself too.
Agree.
Kasi, di ba, makita naman nila na you're trying.
Yeah. And you don't change these things overnight or
Yes.
in a wink of an eye. What I am now is a product of a 40-year journey in this world, in this profession. I'm already almost 60 years old.
And praise the Lord for the 60
Yeah.
years, almost 60 years
Almost
that
60.
God has granted you.
And what you have become today was not just a product of an overnight investment. You have
a
to
lifelong.
account. It's a lifelong, no? I remember a story about a wood cutter, a stone cutter. Sorry if I infuse this.
It's
no?
okay, it's okay.
There's this stone cutter who tries to pound a rock. And the journey is to split or to break the rocks into small pieces and then the stone cutter tries to pound it, the first, the second, the 70th pound, 30, 80, until 101. But nothing happens to the big rock. But on the 102nd blow that it did, the rock turned into pieces.
Finally.
Yeah. And so, the one observing the pounding of the rock asked the stone cutter, was it the 102nd blow that you did broke the rock? And he said, of course not.
Yeah.
Starting from the first pound I did up to the 102nd, they all contributed to breaking that big rock into pebbles.
Wow.
And that's how life should be, no? You're gonna just say, well, I did the best yesterday, and that's
And then
what made
magically,
me today.
I was like today.
The definition of who you are should really account on every single journey you did. Well, it has always been said that a million miles of journey begins with a single step. And all the steps are equally essential. Even the non-desirable steps that you did contributed to the kind of person you are today.
Doc, you have mentioned a lot of, if I'm going to picture out everything that you have said, I think your life is mostly dedicated to your job and to being the person who can lift up others, especially the teachers from where they are. But I want to know, what keeps you going? What are the things that you do that keeps you happy and stronger? Well, you are dedicating your life as an regional director now. Ano po yung mga pinagkaabalahan nyo aside from work? Where are you most active of that maybe yung mga yung stress mo? Kasi it's not easy to decide every day, right?
Well, I always say you should strike a balance between life and career. That's very important. When you have to grow in career, check on your life. Because there's a lot of people that's part of that life outside of your work, your family, that will give you the strongest motivation of really doing well and come out a person of which the family can be very proud about. So ganun yun eh.
So in short, Doc, you are trying to get your energy back, your motivation back from your family.
I think yes. No. I'm not perfect. I also have lapses, no? At work
And we all
and
are.
in life. Yeah, and that's what I've said. Everybody has that tendencies. No? That's reality. Real talk yan. And, well, in striking a balance between life and career, you also have to see the kind of life you live outside of your work. No? Especially me, for example. I build circles outside of my career circle. No? Treasure the friends that you have outside of your work, because these are the people that will give you,
Fuel you.
yeah, and then that will give you the drivers towards living your life forward. No? Sabi nga nila, watch out for the people that you meet along the way, going up, because these are the same people you meet when you go down. So every single person you meet has a role in your life, and you have to treasure that. However is the acquaintanceship happen. No?
Everyone should be
Everyone.
treasured.
Yeah.
Hindi lang yung mga tao na nagbigay sa'yo ng mga happy moments, success moments, but those, even people who are bitter on you, who are maybe giving you pain, and sometimes will trigger your negativity in life. Kasi meron din yan eh. Sabi nga nila, you meet people either a lesson or a reason.
Yeah.
How do you deal, Doc, with the people whom you know na they're just there because of your position? Kasi may mga tao talaga na alam mo na yes, they're here because I am on the chair. How do you deal with that?
Well, you have to be cordial to people and make them realize that the motive should not just be about getting close to a superior because you want something in return. Because you have to earn every single reward you get. No? You have to earn it. Otherwise, it's not a genuine happiness. Once you get what you like, just because of being sip-sip to the boss. No? Ganon yun eh. And the boss should be able to give that opportunity for them to realize and work. Kasi hindi pwedeng it will just be granted to you like a silver platter. You
Parang
really
genie.
yeah, you really have to earn that. Well, I would like to impress on everyone that I'm not perfect. I'm not living a perfect life as well. So, ganun lang yun. Just learn from the mistakes. To me, committing a mistake is not a big deal. For as long as you learn lessons from them.
And admit
Yeah.
that you failed. Admit that you
Yes.
have may nagawa kang mistake.
And learn lessons from them. But,
Hindi ka lang mag-stop doon sa admittance na.
Yes.
You have
Yes.
to rise above it.
correct. Because if you keep repeating the same mistakes, then that's a different story.
Yes. Doc, alam ko na you are so hardworking. Actually, you're a smart worker. And doing all of these things have made you, maybe people will call you fulfilled individual, successful one, and people have noticed this one. But what is it that you are working on it today? Is it okay if you'll tell them maybe ano yung pinaka trial na nangyari sa buhay mo na you are still working on it today?
I think you just don't confine yourselves to the focus of your job. Because, again, living your life should be complete. And the spirituality aspect should not just be set aside. And I have given so much to this work that I have lived for 40 years. And I know that some aspects of that were just taken for granted. You may learn lessons from that. And sometimes you would feel, if I should have known this earlier, I would have done this. You will have a lot of ifs in life. But again, kung nangyari yan, late mo nang malaman, it is never too late to still address that. No? Kasi to me, for every single realization that you have thought of, continue and living that kind of life. No? Now, I'm challenged physically, but I continue to live my life the way God wants me to be, no? And it is very important that, kasi lahat naman tayo,
May mga challenges.
whatever challenges you have, there is a positive side on that. And you have to find that positivity.
I like that.
And that is an opportunity to becoming closer to God. No? Kasi pag nahirapan ang tao, doon siya
So it's, kumbaga, it's a blessing when you have problems.
a blessing in disguise. Because you might have taken for granted this
Aspect of your
this
life.
fraction of your life. And now that you realize, and it is never too late to double time if, for example, you have taken that aspect for granted.
So kumbaga, it's one way of God's calling your attention to, hey, I need you to come closer to me. We can commune together and be together. What is it that you keep on praying for at this time, Doc?
Well, honestly, I always pray. Ang prayers ko kasi is in levels eh. First and foremost, because of my physical challenge, I always pray that God, please give me probably more years in my life. Extend it a little bit more because I want to do better. I'm not asking you because I have these promises, but give me time to serve better, to become a better leader, to do better, to become a better person. And God has granted me. It may not be in the pacing that you prayed for, because it's always God that disposes your proposals. You only propose and He disposes. And we can never go wrong with God.
Yes.
So, however things happen, it may not be in the timelines that you set, but in God's perfect time, things happen.
Amen for that, Doc. For now, Dr. Art Bayocot is in the 40th year in his service as a Filipino education leader. What is it that you want for people to remember you, especially now that you're leaving Region 10, but you're not actually leaving the Department of Education, you're just leaving your name here. What is it that you want people in Region 10 to remember you, aside from being the educational leader that you are?
Life continues, no? Wherever you stop working or continue working, life moves on. And this chapter, while I'm saying, Lord, just give me signs on the right time for me to retire from work. Because even if I retire from DepEd, I will always have opportunities to serve. No? Since this is service to humanity, whatever you do, may that be out of DepEd or inside of DepEd. And well, I'm so attached with this region. This is my 7 years and 8 months already. And if you look at the journey of
And this is your home region?
No, this isn't. No? I stayed 29 years in Region 9. I started my teaching work there till I became superintendent.
So Region 9 is your home region?
Yes.
Oh,
And I
okay.
moved to Region 12, served there as director for 2 years and 8 months. Then come here to Region 10 and lasted for 7 years and 8 months. And now I'll be moving to Cebu, and I hope God will give me the chance to grow even more. And first and foremost, to ask for help. I would like to be remembered by the people I worked with as a person that have given impacts, not on the tangible things I have done, but in the relationship I built. No? That's one of the strongest legacies that you can be very proud about. No? Yesterday in our tribute program, as they tendered, they were talking about physical accomplishments, physical developments that I have done in the regional office. But to me, these are just secondary. The primary legacy that I can always be proud about is building the family within and among us in the region. It's not just in the regional office, but even in the 9 cities and 5 provinces that I work with. And that includes even our education partners, the communities and parents. I may not have that direct line to them or direct engagement to them, but if what I've done has led me, whether in bits and pieces, to the direction where these people are, I think that's already a fulfillment. No? So I want them to remember me as a leader with a heart. Gusto ko talaga yun kasi my advocacy talaga in leading is just relationship and performance.
Wow.
You cannot just perform at the expense of your relationship. That's not genuine success. Alam mo, maraming eskwelahan na nagtatrabaho talaga para mabigyan ng maraming parangal. But para saan ito? Kung nagkandasira naman ang relasyon ng mga taong katrabaho mo. So strike a balance. That's 50% performance, 50% relationship will give you a total of 100. No? Ganun yun.
I've learned so much from you, Doc, and I hope that a lot of people right now who are reached by this interview may also have learned the leadership style. I want you now to address our teachers, Doc. How many teachers do we have in Region 10?
Well, we have 57,000
Wow.
teaching and non-teaching personnel in Region 10, Northern Mindanao.
It's your time now to address to them, and after that, you'll have to address also the community in Region 10.
I'd like to thank you for doing your job. I did not ask for your loyalty to me because your loyalty to service is your loyalty to the agency and to the leader himself. No? You've done a great job. I apologize for some shortcomings that I have lived in this region. I have not been able to penetrate all schools, all classes. That's too huge and very impossible for me to get there. That's why if there are gatherings, meetings, I always would like to take advantage on that event because I want to see a lot of you, which I cannot do if I'll hop from one school to the other. And continue to do well. Because as what I have said, if we are good today, there's still that better level. And I carry the learning in Region 10 to the next region that I will go. Because my going to Cebu will always have inputs on the way I hurdle challenges in Region 10.
Yes.
And from the very beginning, ganun yun. And as a leader, as a milestone in my career, well, these are things that are not so deep. Sorry, hindi naman ako hypocrite, no? But I became a full-fledged director in Region 10. That's record-breaking because in my journey, I was OIC in Region 12, officer in charge. But as a reward, the intrinsic reward, I had the appointment as full-fledged director in Region 10. I got my CESO rank adjustment from CESO 5 to CESO 3 here in Region 10.
So malaki talaga ang contribution ng Region 10 sa ano ninyo?
In my educational background, maraming nagagawa talaga ang Region 10 sa akin.
Madaming souvenirs.
Yes. And the accomplishments I have achieved in Region 10 were not just done by me. you will always be part of that. Because again, no man is an island. And I know we continue to do our best, hanging on to the truth that once we do our best, the Lord God will take care of the rest.
What is it that you will bring to your next assignment from Region 10? Aside from this, all of these memories, ano yung pinaka-highlight ng Region 10 na kumbaga, kung i-summarize natin, this is the core values of Region 10?
Well, I ripened myself in Region 10. I seasoned myself in Region 10. And I can see that I will become better ready, a better person, a better leader in Region 7. And I think one element that I can always be proud and carry this wherever I go is the family I built in Region 10. This is not just about work. This is about family. That's why yesterday, when I bid farewell to the people I work with up close in this office, di ko talaga mapigilan, umiyak ako. Di naman artista yung pagiging artista yon. So I just expressed myself that, hey, if there's only a chance for me to stay even longer here, I would want to. But again, life is like that.
Yeah.
And the best thing for you to do is carry the learning, perform better wherever you are. Because a new assignment is always a learning opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Art Bayocot. I have learned so much from him, mga kapaglaom. And I feel like I am also, because I am a teacher by profession and by experience for 10 years in the Department of Education, parang it is really a blessing to learn from you today. Na parang I was in awe of all the things you have shared today, and I hope that we can also learn from him, mga kapaglaom. Jesus is our great master teacher. He has led a lot of people into discovering the truth, just like our teachers. Wherever you are in the field today, you fed your children, you assisted them whenever they have emotional setbacks, and you are an inspirational leader to wherever you are assigned to. So keep on holding on to your legacy and to the principles that you are upholding to, mga kapaglaom, because you can never be wrong when you believe that you have this truth in you and you have an influence that you are responsible of. So keep on looking up to Jesus, our great master teacher. Have a blessed day. Was there a time?